Basically, you are the founder of UNBUN Foods.
Yes.
Okay, so, but your background isn't.
No. I studied computer science and math at Western, probably like partying computer science and math.
No.
But I guess later on in life, got really involved with health and wellness. And
okay, so that was basically the inspiration for the UNBUN Foods? Was it because you wanted to share that with the world?
You know what, ultimately, it was almost like a selfish endeavor in the fact I just wanted to make bread for myself. I was living in downtown Toronto,
yeah,
and going for burgers pretty regularly and trying to eat healthy. And you know, like I love bread. I love bread, but bread doesn't love me back, you know. Okay. And so it was right before my birthday, and I thought I was going to try and trim down a little bit, and I cut bread out, and I was eating lettuce bun burgers. And while I was eating these burgers, I thought, I wish I had bread that I could eat myself, which is gluten-free, low in carbs, tastes good, and there was nothing that was out there. So I decided to learn how to bake, and UNBUN was born.
Let's talk formula, because you've never baked. How do you come up with this formula?
You know, honestly, at first I just tried gluten-free recipes. So I looked online. I mean, the internet is a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
And then it starts to become like a science experiment. So, you know, being a chef is very much like a romantic art, you know, where baking is very much a science. There's very specific parameters. Yeah. I want to have this result. I change the water, I change the temperature, and there's very much a cause and effect. And so subsequently I learned all of the parameters that would affect, let's say I want to use almonds, how do I make it taste like traditional wheat? And we wanted to use only, or I wanted to use only natural ingredients.
Okay.
So that also limits, you know, I didn't use gums, no starches. Really the product is made out of ground up almonds, ground up flax, olive oil, free range eggs, salt, apple cider vinegar, like very, very natural ingredients. But ultimately the finished product tastes exactly like traditional wheat products. So it wasn't even a business. So it was basically, I was baking at home. My friends thought I think I'd lost my mind. And so I built a website. I have a tech background.
Okay.
And this was just strictly for like a vision board to kind of think, okay, this could be a business. I started checking out how big is the gluten-free bun market. Okay, well, it's you know, $500 million. The bun business in the US is $2 billion for hot dog and hamburger buns. So then I started thinking, okay, this could maybe be a business. I saw there weren't any other competitors. And I took the buns into a burger chain called Burgers Priest. And they tried them, they loved them.
Yeah.
And they basically said, okay, we want to move forward with purchase orders. And at that point, I think I was baking 12 buns an hour in my home. And I had to figure out how to make thousands of them. And I ended up going to a place called Food Starter, which is now called DVK. And it was a project with the city and the Ontario government. And it gave me access to like industrial baking equipment. So in my part-time, so I was working full-time for a tech company in downtown Toronto. I was going to this commercial kitchen and baking. And eventually, as I was finishing this order, I decided, okay, this is real. This isn't just, you know, my friends like this. This is one of the most, I would say the best burger chain in Toronto, maybe in Canada, is ordering this product. This is a real business and it requires my full-time attention. And so I quit my job, I think, when I got my first payment for them. And I told my mom I was going to quit my job to bake buns. And she's like, Kosta, no, she was actually, you know, she was cautiously optimistic. Was talking to Pizza said, hey, can you do a crust for us? So figured out how to make a crust out of my house. So everything basically starts at home. And if I love how it tastes, then I eventually go to our plant and then we do plant trials and we kind of translate what happens at home into a commercial bakery. And from there we got Mr. Sub, and then we started expanding into the US with sliced bread, tortillas. We now have frozen top pizzas, and we actually have bagels. A fellow Greek brought us in. The very first store that brought us in that wasn't a food service was Fresh and Wild. I remember walking in, and at that point, they weren't even in bags. They were in these like little pie shells. I walk in and I say, you know, I'd love to have your manager try this. And they're like, oh, the owner's over there. He's like, oh, Peter. And I kind of recognized the accent, and I was like, Elnas. He's like, yeah, Elnas. I'm like, Kosta quiero poli. And we sat down, he tried the buns, and he's like, yeah, this is great. Any food you eat, If you eat pizza, you eat it on a crust. If you eat a sandwich, you eat it on sliced bread.
Okay.
You eat a burger, bun, right? Or taco, tortilla.
Yeah.
So that carrier is really the difference between something being healthy and unhealthy.
High in good fats, right?
There you go.
High in good fats, because when I first saw it, I'm cautious. I got scared. I'm going to be honest with you. Are we talking high fiber for your products?
Yeah, everything is, well, depending on if it's bread or buns, but 8 grams and above per serving.
Okay.
So high in fiber,
That's good.
high in protein. It's usually between 8 and 10 grams of protein.
Yeah.
And then when we talk about fats, like we use Greek extra virgin olive oil. So not just olive oil, it's like EVO from Greece.
Now that you have a healthy type of bread, are you going to stay with the breads?
We are gonna we're gonna be doing cookies, brownies, cakes, chips. Within the next 3 to 6 months, all of those products will be available.
Is the key to this the flour?
It's not just the flour; it's the combination of. So we also use something called psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is a binder. So almond flour based, psyllium husk, egg or pumpkin seed when it's, because we have plant-based products. So for example, the pizza crusts have no egg in them. It's the combination of almond flour and psyllium.
Okay, because
that's the secret sauce.
Okay, those are what I tried, like pizza dough, and you're doing it gluten-free. It is challenging, and I've seen in the supermarket they have it made like cauliflower and all this.
Yeah, well, the stuff that's cauliflower, they basically just put some cauliflower in it, but they put a bunch of other stuff that, they put xanthan gum, for example.
Yeah.
Xanthan gum is used in oil drilling. I don't want to put that in my products, so we don't use any gums. Traditional gluten-free, they're using starches and binders and just strange ingredients that I don't consider to be natural. So as close to unprocessed as possible.
Yeah, where should we go for more info?
UNBUNFoods.com.